Tosti has the floor. And plus, it's hot tonight. Okay. Mr. Tosti has the floor. Please take your seats.
First of all, if you haven't heard already, make a feel-good announcement. The Celtics blew out the 76ers in the third game. Now, if we're going to see the game on Monday, I don't understand the substitute motion at all.
You're on the list already.
Let me give you a little history. The proponents of this came before the Finance Committee probably sometime in late February. They went through their whole presentation. It was very good. They asked for $25,000 so that they could replace the helmets over 3 years. Several people on the Finance Committee were concerned about it, but we decided not to vote on it that night because we wanted to hear what the school department had to say. So we waited until the school department, which is already scheduled to come before us in March, we waited to get their input. In the meanwhile, you know, several of us had conversations with various members of the school department and committee, and sort of with the sense of, could you go back and take a look at this and, you know, see if you could do a little more? So they went back and they took a look at it. And as you can see in their budget that was handed out several weeks ago, they added another $22,000 so they could replace all the helmets in 3 years. This was a backup. They put together a very elaborate discussion of this in their budget. In fact, I think they discussed concussions more than they discussed a lot of the numbers, but it was extensively described. So, okay, we got $22,000 additional. So I passed this information on to Mr. Harrington and thought the issues were settled. Obviously, I was wrong. So my confusion. The proponents asked for $25,000, get the helmets done over 3 years, and the school department very elaborately discussed how they were going to do this. It'd be even faster if they needed to, which is why they got the additional $22,000. To spend more if they, and to be honest, they probably could spend more if they wanted to. So why are we being asked to spend another $25,000 on top of the extra $22,000 the school department has put in? I don't know. I think the school department is ready to answer any questions that you have on the details of this, but I think this is a situation in an article. If it was my article, I would have declared victory and gone home. But there must be more to it than that. So please, could you vote this down and let's get on with the rest of the articles. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Swilling.
Nathan Swilling, Precinct 4. I move to terminate debate on all matters.
We have a motion to terminate debate on all matters. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed?
No.
In my opinion, debate is terminated. It's not a two-thirds vote. It's had a two-thirds terminate debate. Okay, you got a standing vote. All in favor of termination debate, please rise. Same tellers. Mr. Dunn up front. 9. Mr. Schlickman. 18. Mr. 34 from Mr. O'Connor. Mr. Tremblay. 28. And Mr. McCabe? 18. All opposed to termination, please rise. Mr. Dunn? 1. Mr. Schlickman? 14. Mr. O'Connor? 14. Mr. Tremblay? 11. Mr. McCabe? 18. It's not 2/3. Times 2. 116. There's not a 2/3 vote. It's 107 to 58. Next on the list is Mr. Jamieson.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Gordon Jamieson, Precinct 12. A couple weeks ago, I happened upon the proponents at Panera's when I was doing some work, and I had I think a fairly detailed discussion with the proponents about this issue. Oh, I had a fairly detailed discussion. Gordon Jamieson, Precinct 12. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I ran into the proponents of this article a couple weeks ago at Panera's. I wanted to go over and, in general, chat up Mr. Harrington, just to promote collegiality, and I heard about this issue. I was compelled to do some more research as Mr. Tosti, Ms. Bodie, Ms. Kersey, Dr. Kersey, and other members of the Finance Committee and the town manager. I did send an email out asking about the question. Came away with the conclusion Mr. Tosti had that this was pretty much had been addressed by the school committee. I have some questions about the presentation. The warrant article speaks to a general program. The presentation's title speaks to a general program, but the substitute motion here speaks to a very specific program. My understanding from the school committee is that their program is designed to address all the issues related to concussion. As needed, they'll replace equipment. That's what my discussions with the school committee have been. I am concerned and have a question for the town council whether the town manager can actually purchase this equipment.
Ms. Rice?
Or is this under the purview of the school committee?
Juliana Rice, Town Council. He could do so. He can't be directed to do so, and he cannot direct the school committee to implement any particular program. So this is one of those votes that might get passed by town meeting, but really never be implemented.
Okay, and I'm sorry, Ms. Rice, I wanted to ask you another question. So does that also relate to the fact that basically through the presentation, we're being asked to define the procurement process, which I believe is probably against MGL?
What are we being asked to do? I don't hear.
Well, the presentation suggested that we spend $25,000, but there was the implicit connection that if we were to vote for it, that the part of the cost would be targeted towards a defined supplier. Is that in agreement with Mass General Law procurement requirements?
No. Procurement of equipment worth $25,000 would be subject to the Uniform Procurement Act.
Okay, so my position agrees with Mr. Tosti. Thank you, Ms. Rice. With the proponents' passion about this notwithstanding, I think we should trust the school committee to do the right thing. I think they have responded to this issue, as Mr. Tosti said. And I know that, I believe that if there are reasons to spend additional funds, that the school committee will do that. That's my personal belief. And I also believe that should they require additional funds to address this important issue in the current, in the FY13 fiscal year, that I believe the Finance Committee would be most responsive, just as they are with the youth consultation services, where they're very supportive of that over the years. So I ask you to vote no action on the vote down the substitute motion and vote no action as originally proposed by the reporting body. Thank you.
Mr. Harris?
E.J. Harris, Precinct 5. If I'd known that the leaf blower vote Monday was going to occur 6 years ago, 10 of my friends and I sitting in the AHS cafeteria would certainly have placed a football ban on the warrant, since it's also loud, a public health nuisance, and detrimental as nerds to our quality of life. There's a couple of related concepts that debaters care quite a lot about that seem relevant here. They are symbolic action and moral hazard. The first states that when you take an action that sort of but doesn't really solve a problem, people act as if it's solved. The second is that is moral hazard, that people behave more recklessly when they feel safe, whether or not they actually are safer. It seems to me that football is an inherently dangerous activity, both on the level of like large people running at each other and like trying to destroy each other, but also on the social level, which is far outside the purview of this warrant. But it seems to me that what we're being asked to do is pretend to make the activity safer on at least one of those levels without actually doing so. Which seems to me likely only to increase the probability that people are going to behave dangerously once they think that they are now like magically immune to concussions because they have little lights on the back of their helmets or whatever it is we heard. So it seems to me that even not knowing all the stuff that Mr. Tosti said that made quite a lot of sense about this being strictly speaking unnecessary, it also seems imprudent at the point at which we are only proposing to take a marginally dangerous activity, make it more dangerous, and then pretend that it's less dangerous. This seems bad. Overall, I'd encourage you to oppose, even if it seemed like a good idea at the point at which, if people truly want to play football and truly want to endanger their lives, we should probably let them do it, but we probably shouldn't facilitate doing it all that much. I urge you to oppose.
Curran?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Joe Curran, Precinct 13. I'm here for dual purposes. First of all, I'm here professionally as well as I'm biased because I have a son who's going to play football next year. Unlike, I think, the previous speaker, I actually wore a football helmet. I kind of involved with it. Maybe some people would go to the point that maybe I probably played without one too often. But I've come up here to support this article because everything I've ever known in education is data-based now. Everything's data-based. And for years as a professional, well, as a coach at a high school level, there is no data that can tell you other than looking in a kid's eye or seeing how a play went out where somebody maybe got hurt or not sure, and the kid's not going to want to tell you because they want to keep playing because they love the sport. Some people don't like sports or don't like football. That's their prerogative. Many children do, and it's a vehicle that keeps a lot of people involved. I'm here to support it. I think professionally it gives you an opportunity to see exactly what's happening to the kids when they're in the field. From what I understand from what the speaker said, if I'm a coach and I see a green light when somebody goes into a pile, it makes me feel good. If I see a yellow light, I have a little caution. If I see a red one, I might have to want to take a look at that kid when he comes off. If all the lights are going off, it's not a good thing. I want to get to that kid right away and find out what's going on, because I don't want to put him back out there and put him in a position to get hurt or to fail. So probably for the first time since just so you know a little bit about me, I played Pop Warner here when we had leather helmets. And they added the face mask because they didn't have the funding. There were some wonderful people that volunteered their time. And then it evolved to a plastic shell. It went further on. When I got to college, they had a Max Pro helmet that actually fit to your head. So I've kind of evolved with the helmet itself. Right now, we're at the cutting edge. It couldn't be a better time for a kid to play football because people are more aware. And I think it would be a travesty, especially when I heard Mr. Dice the other night. I don't want to misquote him, but he said that we're in the top 2% of the most intelligent people in the world, our educational system. This, to me, would be a no-brainer to go out and protect our kids. If it starts out in football, maybe we can develop a chip that will help a girl in soccer. And maybe we can help another one in diving. whatever it may be, but we can at least do something to protect our children so that someday, if they ever do get an opportunity to look at my brain, it doesn't look like the way it should because it's some of the things that I didn't have as a child. But because I had an interest and I wanted to get involved in that at least I know that the adults in my life took the precautions and tried to do the best they can to make sure that I was safe. And to me, this is a no-brainer. If you want to protect children and give them all the opportunities and give them all the things that they want to be able to explore, to me, this is something that you really should support. So I thank you. I played Pop Warner, I played in high school, I played in college, I've coached at every level as well, and I would urge you to support this article. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Dunn? Pass. Ms. Mahan?
Diane Mahan, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 14. I move to terminate debate on this warrant article and all matters related thereto.
We have a motion to terminate debate on all matters. Please, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? No. Debate is terminated. We have before us the substitute motion of Mr. Harrington. All in favor of Mr. Harrington's substitute motion, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed?
No.
In my opinion, that is defeated. Standing vote. Get out of here, Lyman. All right, all in favor? We have recommended for standing vote. I thought you said roll call, Mr. Judd. I'm sorry. Everybody who wants this vote, all in favor of substitution, please. All in favor of substituting Mr. Harrington's motion, please rise. Up front? Two. Mr. Schickman? 11. Mr. O'Connor? 9. Mr. Tremblay? 12. Mr. McCabe? 19. All opposed to substitution, please rise.
3, 4, 7, 8, 9. Just the opposite.
Up front, Mr. Dunn? 9. Mr. Schlickman? 22. Mr. O'Connor? 39. Mr. Tremblay? 29. Mr. McCabe? 22. Under 21. The vote is in the negative. 53 positives, 121 negative. It is not substituted. We have before us a recommended vote of the FinCom for no action. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
All opposed?
No.
It is a no action vote. We have now before us Article 15.